The shadow of extinction in the year 2478, the stars had turned against humanity. The galaxy, once a vast frontier of promise, had become a graveyard of shattered worlds. The Xerath Dominion, an empire of biomechanical horrors from the Orion Arm, it swept through human colonies like a plague of locusts. Their ships, colossal amalgamations of flesh and metal, pulsed with an unnatural life, devouring atmospheres and stripping planets bare. Humanity's fleets, once proud armadas of gleaming alloy and plasma fire, were reduced to flickering embers in the void. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge of the last horizon, the flagship of what remained of the United Earth Defense Force. Her uniform, tattered and stained with the blood of fallen comrades, hung loosely on her frame. At 42, she had seen more death than most could imagine. Her crew, a ragtag assembly of survivors from a dozen worlds, manned stations with haunted eyes. The holographic display before her showed the grim reality: the Xerath Armada closing in on Sol System, Earth's last bastion. "Status report," Alara barked, her voice steady despite the knot in her gut. Lieutenant Kai Reyes, her second in command, tapped his console. "Shields at 17%. Weapons offline in sectors 3 through 5. We've got maybe 2 hours before they're in firing range. The outer colonies? They're gone, Captain. All of them." Lara clenched her fist. The Xerath weren't just conquerors. They were eradicators. Their biology demanded constant expansion, fusing organic matter with their tech to evolve. Humans were seen as inferior biomass, ripe for assimilation. The war had started a decade ago with border skirmishes, but now defeat was certain. The alliance of free worlds had crumbled, alien allies fleeing or falling. Humanity stood alone. As alarms blared, a faint signal pierced the Statica encrypted burst from Earth's archives. "Incoming transmission from Terra Command," Kai announced. Its ancient pre-spaceflight era codes. Lara's brow furrowed. "Play it." A holographic figure materialized, an elderly man in archaic military garb, his eyes burning with defiance. "This is General Harlan Thorpe, United States Army. 1944. If you're receiving this, the world's gone to hell. But listen, up humanity doesn't roll over. We've buried something for you. Coordinates attached. Wake the warriors." The message cut off. Coordinates pointed to a vault on Earth's moon, long forgotten. "Ancient warriors," Kai scoffed. "What? Like mummies with spears?" Ilara ignored the sarcasm. "Plot a course for Luna. We're not dying without a fight." The last horizon broke formation, dodging Xerath scouts as it hurtled toward the moon. Landing amid craters scarred by ancient impacts, Ilara led a team into the depths. The vault was a relic from World War II, sealed in 1945 after some classified project. Inside, cryopods hummed faintly, their occupants preserved in stasis. "These are soldiers," Kai whispered, peering through frosted glass. Men and women in faded uniforms, faces etched with the grit of a bygone era. Ilara activated the revival sequence. Alarms wailed as pods hissed open. The first to awaken was Sergeant Marcus Hale, a broad-shouldered infantryman from Normandy. He gasped, clutching a phantom rifle. "Where the hell am I?" Krauts finally dropped the bomb. More awoke. Pilots from the Pacific, commandos from the deserts, nurses turned fighters from the home front. They were the ancient warriors elite from Earth's bloodiest conflicts, volunteered for experimental cryo-freeze in case of apocalyptic need, preserved not just in body, but with minds honed by unrelenting war. Explanations were brief. The 20th century soldiers stared in awe at holographic maps, laser rifles, and tales of interstellar foes. But their eyes hardened at the word invasion. "Aliens, huh?" Marcus grunted, flexing muscles untouched by time. "Same as Nazis' ugly bastards who think they're superior." "Hand me a gun." Ilara equipped them with modern gear, power armor that amplified strength, neural implants for instant tactics. The ancients adapted fast. Their primitive ferocity clashed with high-tech, but it ignited something primal in the crew. Back on the last horizon, the Xerath closed in. The ship shuddered under fire. All hands to battle stations. Ilara commanded. The ancients charged into the fray. Marcus led a boarding party, teleporting onto a Xerath dreadnought. Inside, the air reeked of ozone and rot. Xerath warriors' tentacled abominations, fused with cybernetics, surged forward. Marcus roared, though his rifle had none. He charged, plasma bolts scorching the air. A Xerath lashed out, its appendage slicing armor. Marcus dodged, drove his vibroknife into its core. For the boys at Omaha, the battle raged. Ancients used guerrilla tactics from jungles and trenches, outmaneuvering the hive-minded foe. They hacked systems with brute force, overloaded reactors with improvised explosives from ship scraps. From the bridge, Ilara watched in disbelief as the dreadnought exploded. There, winning skirmishes. But the armada was vast. As Part 1 ended, the ancients rallied the fleet, their unbreakable spirits spreading like wildfire. Defeat loomed, but hope flickered an ember from humanity's past. The reawakening fury, the revival of the ancient warriors, spread like a virus through the remnants of humanity's forces. Word transmitted via quantum relays to hidden outposts on Mars, Titan, and beyond. Pilots from the Battle of Britain strapped into starfighters, their dogfighting instincts translating seamlessly to zero-G combat. Snipers from Stalingrad perched in asteroid fields, picking off Xerath scouts with railguns that punched through holes like butter. Sergeant Marcus Hale became a legend overnight. His squad, dubbed the Ghost Division, specialized in hit-and-run assaults. On the last horizon, he trained modern troops in forgotten arts, camouflage and vacuum. Psychological warfare via broadcast taunts. "These squids think we're prey," he'd growl. "Show 'em we're the apex." Captain Ilara Voss coordinated from the command center, her strategy evolving. The Xerath operated on logic-predictable swarm tactics. But humans, especially these ancients, thrived on chaos. "Unpredictability is our weapon," she declared. A pivotal clash occurred at the Kuiper Belt. The Xerath vanguard, fleet of biocruisers, ambushed a refugee convoy. Ilara's forces arrived late, but the ancients turned the tide. Lieutenant Anya Petrova, a Soviet ace from the Eastern Front, led a squadron of interceptors. "For Mother Russia," she cried, weaving through enemy fire, her ship a blur of afterburners. Anya's tactics, feigned retreats drawing pursuers into minefields. Improvised from comet debris. Explosions ripped through the void, biofluids crystallizing in the cold. Marcus's ground teams, now Space Marines, boarded crippled vessels, fighting corridor to corridor. They discovered Xerath weaknesses. Electromagnetic pulses disrupted their neural links, causing disarray. Back on Earth, in fortified bunkers beneath the Himalayas, more vaults opened. Warriors from across history, samurai from feudal Japan, Zulu impis, Roman legionaries. The project had been global, a secret pact post-World War II to preserve humanity's martial essence. These ancients weren't just 20th century. The term encompassed all pre-space heroes cryo-frozen in hidden sites. A Roman centurion, Gaius Maximus, adapted his gladius to energy blades, leading charges that echoed the legion's discipline. Formed testudo, he'd command shields interlocking into force fields against plasma barrages. The war shifted. Xerath probes reported anomalies, human ships fighting with illogical ferocity. Their hive queens, pulsating brains in fortress worlds, recalculated. Humanity was supposed to break, statistics demanded it, but the ancients brought more than muscle. They carried stories, songs of defiance. Around campfires simulated on holodecks, they shared tales of Thermopylae, Gettysburg, the Somme. Modern humans, jaded by tech, rediscovered grit. Morale soared, yet cracks appeared. Cultural clashes. A Viking berserker clashed with a disciplined Marine over tactics. Ilara mediated, forging unity. We're all human. That's our strength. The turning point, Operation Phoenix. a daring strike on a Xerath hive ship orbiting Neptune. Marcus and Anya led the assault, infiltrating via stealth pods. Inside, horrors awaited chambers of assimilated humans. Twisted into drones? Monsters. Anya spat. Freeing survivors with thermite charges, they reached the core. A queen, a colossal entity of flesh and circuits. Marcus planted a nuke, but the queen lashed out, impaling him. Pain exploded, but he laughed. I've taken worse from Jerry machine guns. Anya dragged him out as the ship detonated, a supernova in the dark. Marcus survived, scarred but unbreakable. As part closed, the Xerath retreated from Sol's edges, regrouping. Humanity breathed, but the final push loomed. The ancients had risen, but victory demanded sacrifice. Triumph of the indomitable spirit, the galaxy held its breath as the Xerath mustered their full might. Their emperor, a godlike amalgam in the core worlds, decreed humanity's extinction. Fleets converged on Sol, blotting out stars. Captain Alara Voss, now admiral, commanded from Earth's orbital fortress. The ancients formed the vanguard. Marcus Hale, healed and fiercer, led hybrid legions. Anya Petrova coordinated air wings. Gaius Maximus drilled ground defenses on Luna. The battle began at Pluto's orbit. Xerath warp jumps tore space, unleashing hordes. Human defenses, laser grids, antimatter mines held initially. But numbers overwhelmed, breaching the line. Kyraeus shouted. Eller activated the final protocol. Unleash the warriors. Ancients poured forth. Vikings in power suits boarded enemy flagships, axes humming with plasma. Samurai duelists sliced through drones with katana vibroblades. Zulu warriors used shields to deflect blasts, spears launching like missiles. Marcus's team targeted the command vessel. Teleporting amid chaos, they fought through Guardian's cybernetic behemoths. Remember Pearl Harbor? A Pacific veteran yelled, grenades blooming fire. Deeper in, they faced the sub-queen. It mind-probed, flooding visions of defeat. But ancients resisted minds tempered by real horrors, not simulations. Anya arrived with reinforcements, her fighter crashing through hulls. Together, they overloaded the core, escaping as the ship imploded. Ripples spread, Xerath links severed, swarms faltering. Humans pressed, ancient tactics blending with tech, feints from Waterloo, ambushes from Vietnam. Earth's skies burned as stragglers invaded. Ground battles raged in cities reclaimed from ruins. Gaius led charges, his voice booming. For Rome and humanity. The Emperor's flagship entered the fray, a planet-sized monstrosity. Ilara piloted the last horizon in a suicide run, but ancients intervened. Marcus Hacked comes. This is for every human who ever stood against tyranny. A coalition strike, starfighters swarming like bees, boarding parties infiltrating. Inside, the Emperor awaited a vortex of tentacles and hate. The final duel, Marcus, Anya, Gaius versus the Beast. Blades clashed, bolts flew. The Emperor assimilated wounds, regenerating. But humans adapted DEMPs, acids from chem-labs.gaius sacrificed, impaling himself to pin it. Ave atque veil. Anya fired the killing shot, core exploding. The Emperor fell, hive collapsing. Xerathos ships fled, or self-destructed. Victory dawned. Planets cheered as ancients stood amid wreckage. Marcus gazed at stars. We rose once more. Humanity rebuilt, honoring the past. The warriors integrated, teaching resilience. Defeat was certain till humanity's spirit, eternal, prevailed. In the HFY spirit, humans weren't just survivors. They were the galaxy's unbreakable force.